Welcome all to Off the Cuff. Hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. And today we're going to talk a little bit about real estate. And I have with me Nina Daruwala, a friend and a sponsor for a long time for Off the Cuff. So, welcome Nina to Off the Cuff.
Thank you, Namrita. I am happy to be here.
Likewise, Nina, as you all know, is a very reliable name in real estate. She is an award winning agent, a very meticulous worker, and her clients love her dedication. Uh, and she will give you her contact number and website later. So, Nina, a little bit on the personal front. You've been doing this for
20 years now.
20 years.
Yes, it's
Wow.
unbelievable that I myself realized this January. I finished 20 years in the business.
Oh, wow.
Came from Australia 2001. This is actually my fifth country. I was born, brought up in Bombay,
Okay.
India, and then moved to Singapore, then to New Zealand, then to Australia, and finally landed up in the US in 2001. And started real estate 2005.
Okay.
And just realized that I have finished 20 years in the business. And happy to say I've been in the top 2% in my company since 2009 and get an award just about every year. It's due to hard work and dedication.
Absolutely.
I love my job. I think I'm one of the few happy people who found her niche in the work I do. I enjoy my job. I don't see it as a chore. I wake up in the morning excited to go and help one more couple, one more family to either sell or buy a home in the
Right.
Silicon Valley Bay Area.
Yeah, and congratulations on completing 20 years. But what about real estate excites you, and why did you get into real estate?
So it's funny because I've always been excited about homes, and when I bought my home in New Zealand, in Auckland, many, many years ago, I used to actually sell the home to my realtor. And she used to laugh at me saying, I'm supposed to be showing you and telling you everything about the home, but here you are excited, you're telling me. So after I bought my home, she actually told me, I'll pay for your license. Why don't you get it
Oh, no.
and do this with me for fun? So
Okay.
that's where my real estate, journey started initially for fun. But when I came here, I found that I changed my entire career from public relations to real estate purely because it gave me a flexibility of time. When I put a category of what I wanted most from my job, and I knew I wanted to get back to work and be productive. I'm a fantastic mother of three, but I need to be productive in my own right and have a career. So when I was looking to kind of establish a career in US, flexibility of time was the first thing on my list. And that was what real estate gave me to be there for my children, to be able to raise my children. I always feel if you have children, it's nice if you are able to be there for them. So that was my goal. I knew if I worked hard in just about any field, I'd make the money. So money was not my top criteria. Flexibility of time was to be there for my children.
I understand that a lot of parents go through that,
Yeah.
adjusting your work schedules, and especially it's not easy to raise parents here in the US, just not in the Bay Area, but here because in India we know there's so much of help that we can get.
That's right. That's
But
right.
here we're
We
kind
need
of
to, yeah,
on
we
your
need to
own.
kind of juggle life to be there for the kids. But also, why I got into real estate is I realized that I absolutely love people.
Okay.
It's a people profession.
Yes.
And I love homes. And I would go and go to open homes just for the fun of it to kind of see what's been done. I have an eye for design. So eventually I started helping my clients with baby proofing their home and advising them. I would actually tell people, here is why you should not buy this home to my buyers. Because of X, Y, and Z, you can do better for the money you have. And they'd be surprised that I was not just selling them a home, but advising them correctly, so that when they eventually bought out of excitement, they were happy to be in that home
Yes.
and woke up happy the next morning. I don't believe in shoving people into a home for the sake of a transaction. I work very relationship based. To me, the people are more important. So when you take care of the people, understanding what their needs are,
Yes.
then the transaction is so much better.
Absolutely. So I know you've lived in 5 countries, you said, and now you've been in the Bay Area for the longest time. How and what can people look into when they are purchasing their first home? What are the steps in becoming a homeowner here?
So basically, right now, as everybody knows, for the last so many years, it's a seller's market. Buyers do face multiple offer situations, and if they are not educated properly, then they feel the apprehension, the fear of being in 7 offers and now having to offer 100,000 more, 200,000 more. I have written 800,000 more than list price
Okay.
in certain neighborhoods on the peninsula and certain cities. But the buyers, for me, I always sit down with them for an initial meeting and explain and talk them through the process of purchase.
Okay.
Just so that they're comfortable when they actually put their feet in the water and go through that process. So they're not scared or apprehensive about, why am I doing this? Why am I paying for this? How much am I paying for that? So the process is explained so that they get into their transaction very easily. As for the seller side, when they approach me for listing their property for sale, the same process I go through in explaining to them what the steps would be, how the home would be prepared, do a comparable market analysis for them to say, here is what your property is worth in the current market situation. And based on that, we take the steps to sell their home so that even they are having the process in place and not feeling apprehensive.
Very true. And I think each buyer must be so different and their needs must be different.
Very.
Yeah.
Very different. So I think it's very important that you have good listening skills, not just hearing skills, but actually listening to what they need, what each individual or couple or family's needs are, because based on that, you move forward, guiding them as to where they should be. To me, most important in a home is safety.
Yes.
I have been a public safety commissioner with the city of Cupertino for 8 years. I was a housing commissioner for 4 years. And to me, safety is number one when you buy a home, because if your cave is not safe to come home to, you may as well rent somewhere else. So advising people, even schools are very important, I agree, because a lot of my families and couples are aiming for good school districts.
Right.
But you can always even put your kid into a private school. But if you don't have safety for your home, then I don't think you should be there. So guidance, proper guidance, and having done the business for 20 years, being on the road almost every day for hours at a time,
Absolutely, I've heard that,
my gas expense is more than my food expense, especially in today's market. So it's a matter of taking care of people.
Very true, I agree. And they need to be comfortable with their agent also,
Absolutely.
Has to feel like home for them, otherwise it's difficult. So where can they find you? Would you like to give your contact?
Basically, I work for Coldwell Banker. Actually, I hang my license with Coldwell Banker. I'm an independent contractor like any other realtor. My office is in Cupertino. My phone number is 408-219-5743. And my website is my first name, last name, Nina Daruwala, Nina, D for Delta, ARUWALLA.com, ninadaruwala.com. Do reach out to me if you'd like an initial consult. I like to sit down for a first meeting either with a seller or a buyer and take them through the process and make sure that they are comfortable with me and I'm comfortable with them to move forward so that everybody has a peaceful, good transaction.
Okay, and what is a typical timeline for, offer acceptance and closing these days?
Well, acceptance and closing happens when you actually go into contract. For sellers, there is a process which is not that long because you meet with them, you explain to them the process, you go through the steps, and you put the property on the market. You then take the offers, and you're in contract, typically 30-day close of escrow. For buyers, it's a different story because you're
Okay.
setting up a search after you've listened to all their needs and you've kind of clarified exactly what they're looking for. Then you set up their search. You start looking at properties together. I like to go with my buyers. I don't just throw them out and say, go to open homes, that's it, Like a lot of people I see coming to my open homes without an agent because they just tell me, oh, my agent just said, go look at the house.
Okay.
I like to go with my buyers because at properties, I am still listening to them saying, oh, you know what, I really like this, or I really don't like that. That gives me clarity.
Okay.
Because I also then look for homes which are off market,
Oh, okay.
not just those on market, so that in case I have properties come through to me that are off market, we can jump on that and I can take my buyers there.
Okay. Yeah, and one more thing is because of the zoning, things that happen, should the buyer especially be looking into, zoning reforms in the
Not
areas?
particularly, because zoning is also there on the MLS. So
Okay, so
that
they
kind
can
of tells
it's
us,
open.
well, it may not tell them, it may be on my side of the paperwork in terms of agent information. But technically, when you're looking at a property, it is zoned already for that particular neighborhood and area. So zoning is important, and zoning can be changed a little bit, depends on the lack of homes in a particular neighborhood. That's an exception a city can give, but never take zoning for granted in terms of if you want to change something. For example, if you have a 16,000 square foot lot,
Yeah.
and now you want to build two properties on that, for now it is only zoned for one.
Ah,
You would then have to approach whichever city it belonged to and check with City Hall to say, hey, can I split this lot?
Okay.
Can I build two homes on this property? Therefore, the zoning would change
Oh.
from R1 to R2. So those are different aspects. Those technically is for people who want to do something like that. But generally speaking, zoning is already set.
Okay, okay. Now coming more to your personal life, I know you're a very busy person, and but how do you spend your free time? What do you like to do? What's your passion?
So I love my job. I love my real estate. I do put on a lot of time, but I also volunteer a lot. I am a Parsi,
Yeah.
Zoroastrian culture from Bombay,
Okay.
and I do volunteer with my own community quite a bit.
Nice.
Besides that, I volunteer in the senior center sometimes.
Okay.
I used to volunteer with palliative care and visit patients, but that really didn't work for me because I'm too soft. When people are in the last stage of life, it would really get to me. So it's not something that I continued doing. But my dream eventually, hopefully I'll never really retire from real estate, but I will probably, as I go towards slowing down or cutting back a little bit, my dream is to be a cuddler.
Oh.
And a cuddler is somebody who goes to NIC ICU, the neonatal ICU for premature babies. And therefore, they need people there who can actually hold the child against skin to skin and give them the warmth and the nurturing that they need. Because babies who are premature, their parents can't be there 24/7. And they are not in the hospital 24/7.
Yeah.
They come visit the babies, sit with them and go back. There are times during the day when they need cuddlers. They need people to come and nurture these babies, premature babies.
Wow.
So that's something in my pipeline that I'm working towards, starting even now, maybe one day a week.
Oh, okay.
It's just something, I love babies. I have 3 children, I have 2 grandchildren. I absolutely love babies. So that's something that I would be able to nurture and give back to parents.
Oh, that's
Being
so
a mother
wonderful.
myself, it's just always been something I want to do.
Yeah. I know you do a lot of volunteer
I
work
do.
for
I do.
non-profits. I've seen that. Yeah.
I do. I like it because I feel like, if God's blessed me, I'd like to give something back to the community. So I do a lot of volunteer work. But, music, I really love music. I love theater.
Yes.
I go to a lot of shows, some of them with you. Even alone, happy to do that. I just enjoy life in general. I love movies. I go walking and I read a lot.
Oh, okay.
So anytime that I have a little bit of downtime, there's always a book in my car. If I'm waiting somewhere, I'll read for 10 minutes, even if I can. So I do read a lot.
That's wonderful, and wishing you the very best. And one thing you can tell your clients when they are buying a house, especially about anxiety and how they feel, because it's the biggest investment they can make in their life.
It is.
So, how do you, deal with that with your clients?
I think it is very important to educate them.
Okay.
By educating them initially before they actually step into the real estate market, whether they are selling or whether they are buying. Because some people have been in their home for like 35 years. Now they're retiring, they're moving closer to their children, so they are selling. Otherwise they wouldn't, right? There's always a need to sell because of a reason. So they are selling, they're either going to a retirement home, closer to children, whatever the reason is. There are different reasons. People are moving out of state.
Yes.
People are leaving the country and going back to their countries because some of the policies that are in the current government, like H-1B visa folks, there is anxiety. And by educating them initially, by the first meeting when you sit down with them, I usually ask them for 45 minutes, an hour. And generally the meeting goes to 2 hours or sometimes more because they have questions. And I like to educate them as much as possible, even along the whole transaction process. Every page that they sign for a first offer, I go through page by page with them and educate them again to say, here is what you're signing, and take this very seriously, because it's not like a pair of shoes that you can give back. It's a legal binding contract. It's one of your biggest purchases. So make that move by understanding the process, understanding what you're doing. For me, the Silicon Valley Bay Area is great. I sell up and down the peninsula, all the way from San Francisco down to Morgan Hill. I have sold. Living in 5 countries, driving an hour is no big deal, except for the gas prices. But, I enjoy my work. I enjoy the people. I am part of so many families now. They call me for baby showers and first birthdays and housewarming parties. I've lost count of housewarming parties. So taking care of people, selling real estate, I think I found my dream job. I love what I do.
And
I do residential real estate.
Yes, residential only. And I know Nina also takes care of her clients after they bought the house also, because...
Oh yeah. I don't tell them, I got my check, goodbye. I literally have phone calls, SOS phone calls, my washing machine broke down, my heating broke down, water heater broke down, do you have resources? And after 20 years of being in the business, I absolutely have resources of everything from roof to foundation. So if anybody has a need for, let's say, a painter, plumber, roofer, termite inspections, anything that you can think of roof to foundation, please do reach out to me. Again, my phone number is 408-219-5743 and my website is ninadaruwala.com, NINADARUWALLA.com.
Yeah, and I think the time is running out, but one thing that's coming to my mind is that, Bay Area itself is a hot market. It's just a very small, even an apartment costs over $1 million now here.
It does.
So anywhere, any areas that, first-time home buyers can look into that are not like 3 million plus, with a good school district, I'd say.
Well, you can't balance all of it, right?
I know.
You can't have cheap and have the most best school district, because if that was the case, everybody would be there. The way I look at it is that every buyer is individual.
Yeah.
Right? So the process of getting them first pre-qualified, pre-approved by a lender is very important, because we don't go shopping without a budget. So once you determine the budget to say, okay, I can afford $700,000. Or I can afford $7 million. Based on the budget is your criteria. is your location, is what you can buy, whether it's a condo, a townhome, or a single family. You can go from 600,000 for a one bed, one bath to 16 million, 26 million.
Yeah.
It depends on what you can afford,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So the first point of contact is what can you afford before we step out and go shopping. I don't like people running around and looking at open homes without doing that, because now they have an expectation in their head for $1.5 million. But when they do their pre-approval, they only are approved for 1.2.
Yeah.
When they look at the 1.2, they don't like the house because they like the house
The
at
other one,
at
yeah.
$1.5 million.
Yes, yeah.
And I can't fulfill that criteria. They have to be realistic. So it comes back to being educated. So you educate them about the process and then you help them. Yes, the Bay Area
Best decision they
is
can
a totally beast in itself. There's no comparison. You step out 2 hours out, and what you can buy here for a condo
Yes.
is what you can buy, let's say in Modesto, you can get a 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom
house, yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So it again depends on, are you willing to commute? Do you work remote? What is your job? There's so many things that I ask questions about before I will take them out and step out of the house or step out of the office to show them property and look after them. And and like you said, I work from start, during the transaction, finish, and well
after.
beyond
Yeah.
for a lifetime.
That's one big, plus about Nina Daruwala, I'll say, because she will not leave your side till
I die.
you're really independent home
Till I die.
owner.
Yeah, well, I get phone
Let's
calls.
not go there. But, but Nina, it was such a pleasure talking to you. And one more time, the contact for Nina is.
Well, my phone number is 408-219-5743, and my website is ninadaruwala.com, ninadaruwalla.com. Being a Parsi, I'm honest and hardworking and will take exceptional care of you. Thank you so much, Namrita, for having me.
It was lovely to chat
It
with
was a
you.
pleasure speaking with you too.
I hope this segment helps you guys and you know where you can find Nina. And I'm a Pahari, but I'm also very honest. I'll say.
Absolutely.
So we all, as humans, you need to, connect. And she's wonderful. I can vouch for it, Thank you. Take care and be well.
Thank you, Namrita. Bye for now.
Bye.